I hate this channel.
Oh, hello there. The Smash Bros. Community has its fair share of confusing jargon. Perfect Pivot, Jablock, Johns.
Please, no Johns.
So I spend 16 hours a day running a company. You spend 16 hours a day playing Smash. So
What's wrong with you?
But one of the weirdest pieces of lingo has prevailed throughout the entire series in a decent chunk of the cast. This is a sex kick. A type of neutral air shared by 13 characters in Ultimate. All of these fighters share this familiar pose for their neutral air. Like, why? This doesn't even look like a powerful attack. You can't just...
Well, never mind, I guess.
But it was even worse in Smash 64, where 11 fighters had this kind of nair. In a game with only 12 characters, Donkey Kong was the only character with a unique animation. I know it was nearly the turn of the century, but with the lack of individuality in these moves, it really felt more like 1984 over here.
Was that the bite of 87? Purple guy!
Over the years, though, many characters would receive new animations. And in the case of Wolf, he actually conformed. It may seem like everything was copied and pasted between characters, but if you take a closer look, their differences become much more clear.
let me be clear.
Let's look at frame data. The fastest any of these nairs come out is frame 3, shared by nearly half of this list. But speed isn't everything. Despite Link's nair coming out on frame 7, it can be as safe as -1 on shield. All these moves have a second, weaker hitbox that lingers after the initial frames. With the exception of Dr. Mario, of course, whose nair instead goes from weak to strong. But the beauty of these moves is how they work in tandem with their respective characters. Yoshi can nair out of shield when someone merely sneezes on their egg. Puff can edgeguard characters with their lingering hitbox. Luigi can combo into his up B or down B. Depending on the character, it can also make a great landing option, combo breaker, combo starter, or kill confirm.
Not quite even on that platform. Wow! Wolf blast!
Let's compare Wolf and Mii Brawler's neutral air, which again, on the surface, look and seem very similar. Both are great tools for combos, stock confirms, and ledge trapping. But Mii Brawler's nair comes out on frame 3, but for Wolf it's over twice as slow, starting on frame 7. Mii Brawler has 3 less frames of ending lag, but Wolf's weaker hitbox is slightly larger. They are both unable to auto-cancel out of a short hop, but Wolf's initial auto-cancel window is 4 frames longer, making it a decent option for A-landing. Wolf falling slower than Mii Brawler coupled with a larger, lingering hitbox allows his nair to wall out and potentially edgeguard opponents. It also makes a solid landing option in disadvantage. But Mii Brawler falling faster and having better frame data makes their nair a great pressuring tool, able to land directly on an opponent's shield and be as safe as -2. This is complemented by their frame 2 jab, adding another mix-up between shielding, spot dodging, or a sneaky grab. Who would have thought that all these niche and minute differences were among some of the most homogeneous looking moves, with just the stupidest name possible? I mean, only in Super Smash Bros. Can you utter the phrase, "God damn it, Obama just killed me with his sex kick."
Let me be clear. Your neutral game sucks. Epic gamer moment.
President Barack Obama? But let's dive a little deeper and look at a more official definition of this bizarre term. The Smash Wiki has their own definition of a sex kick, with the properties listed here. Already though, there are a few exceptions with Luigi and Dr. Mario. But it doesn't end there. The actual list of moves that fit this criteria include attacks that are not neutral air, and it's surprisingly long. Fox's back air in Smash 64 and Melee, Wario's forward air, Snake's back air, and even Captain Falcon's knee are a few examples of aerials other than neutral air on this list. Other neutral airs that don't have the iconic pose are included here too, such as Duck Hunt, Sonic, and Pichu, to name a few. All of the other FGC characters' neutral airs are on this list, but not Kazuya's despite its arguably similar properties, but it gets weirder. Isabelle and Villager's down air is listed, but surprisingly not up air despite being nearly identical moves. Even some special moves are included, like Dr. Mario's super jump punch in Smash 4 and Ultimate, but only Zero Suit's flip jump in Brawl and Diddy Kong's monkey flip only in Ultimate count, despite having similar properties in other games. But wait, hold on. Even the Yellow Might? Yeah, that enemy from the Subspace Emissary has a sex kick in Brawl and Smash 4. And not even included, the yellow alloy from Brawl, being a clone of Mario, should also be on this list. But going back to neutral airs from actual fighters, remember those other 76 characters who don't have the same animation for their neutral air? Well, 61 of them are all spinning neutral airs, whether it be their weapon, their body, or both. Now, the aesthetic design of a move isn't the highest priority of game development. And even in moves that have the same concept, there is still a lot of attention to detail in the actual animations. But it's a little disappointing when Sakurai stressed that staying true to a character's essence was a crucial part of the design process, only for so many characters to have the same neutral air for over 2 decades? I don't know, maybe I'm being too hard on the guy, but I feel like there are a lot of elements from many characters' source material that is just being thrown away. But don't get me wrong, these moves can still look clean and feel great to use. And gameplay-wise, nearly all of these moves have unique properties. The variety of character stats and movesets, combined with the individual attributes of the neutral air itself, help create a vast array of playstyles. Palutena's neutral air has different uses from Mythra's, which has different uses from Pyra's, and Plants, and Banjo-Kazooie's, and Pits, and Dark Pits. Wait, no, actually those are the exact same, but you get the idea. Let's again compare two Nairs that initially look very similar, Diddy Kong and Duck Hunt. Two characters that both start with the letter D, are animals, and have a cartwheel neutral air. Duck Hunt's Nair is labeled as a sex kick according to the wiki, having a stronger hitbox at the center of their body, a weaker but longer hitbox on all 4 limbs, horizontal knockback, and a 6-frame startup. Diddy Kong's Nair also has plenty of active frames, but the strength of the hitboxes on his 4 limbs remain consistent throughout the entire move. It has vertical knockback, there's a joke here somewhere, and it starts on frame 8. It can combo into pretty much anything, and is a decent option to land on opponents with, due to its low lag and Diddy's solid jump height. It also becomes even better when holding a banana. I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about Duck Hunt, but the move deals solid damage and is active for over 30 frames. But at the end of the day, and maybe I'm the only one who shares this opinion, it kinda annoys me that a lot of these moves look so similar. There is an argument to be made that, realistically, what else could a character do in midair that's omnidirectional? A spinning attack covers all sides, is easy to animate in some cases, and makes sense functionally for a fighting game. But at the same time, if that logic is repeated too often, you start to wonder if the essence of the character is being somewhat flattened in service of convenience. And it's not impossible to have a neutral air that doesn't fit into either of these categories. Those remaining 15 characters, I believe, actually have unique neutral airs, outside of the sea of sex kicks, spinning, and flag twirls. But even among them, there are a few lookalikes. You may be wondering why Kazuya and Terry are included, but not Ryu and Ken. This is because their Nairs actually hit with their fist as opposed to their legs, which wouldn't really classify them as kicks. For Ryu and Ken, their Nair still looks slightly different than the main pose, but should be classified as a sex kick in my opinion. But here are some rather peculiar but well-designed examples. Mega Man and Steve both have their neutral air and forward tilt function as the same move, very in line with their own games. Wii Fit Trainer has some of the most genius and goofiest design moves ever, and their Nair is no exception. And Mr. Game & Watch has one of the coolest concepts for a neutral air, even going back to Melee when he still had that parachute. It got swapped out for his trusty fishbowl ever since Brawl. But, if you don't mind, can we take a brief moment to talk about how disgustingly good this move is? I guess he has a history of outrageously large Nairs, but the bowl is huge! The fish spilling outside have a hitbox too, so just when you've thought you've outspaced it, and due to its low landing lag, you can easily spot dodge, shield, or up B out of the move.
And don't even get me started on his up special.
You know, it's funny because even though Mr. Game & Watch actually has a juggling attack with his throws, this one right here, this is the real source of class. Aside from Echo Fighters, all these moves do have something unique about them. And I don't want to sound like I'm complaining too much. I mean, I could just be like, Sephiroth and Joker are both DLC characters with a comeback mechanic who have a snapping side special that can power up and does damage over time. Wow, Smash is so unoriginal. Truthfully, it's just fun to explore the tiny aesthetic and functional elements in such a large cast of characters. But yeah, it's entirely possible to have functional, source material inspired non-circular neutral airs, because we're not talking about this or this. We're talking about this. Oh, fuck. Hey, thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing if you really enjoyed the video, and also consider checking out my Ko-fi page, where I plan on posting updates about future content, which should hopefully be soon. Damn, I need a signature goodbye catchphrase. Keep it Spencil, folks.